pacing the way here. Look ahead to round number 2, where Steve Harker will pick his lane over Kevin Kinsley, the local. Then it will be Jay Payne picking his against Steve Burke. On the other side of the ladder, Chris Foster and Marty Notstein will pick their lanes as we move now to round number 2. You know, just at the far end of the racetrack, there's a barbed wire fence, and that's all that separates us here at Houston Raceway Park. Those longhorn steer, they're plenty hungry over there, Bob.
They're sitting there saying, the only thing that's separating them from us is that fence there.
That is a great point as you take a look at Marty Notstein, who's coming in as the number 3 qualifier. Good weekend in Jay Blake's car. On the other side of the racetrack, Steve Gasparelli, been fighting a car that shakes all year long, but he's got the help of Randy Anderson all season long.
Great performances here at this racetrack in past years, not only for Steve Gasparelli, his dad Lou, one of the premier drivers in this sport, ran back here several times. Like I said, they've won this race here in the past, taking on Marty Notstein. And Marty's car, we expected to see them on our ESPN telecast from Gainesville. Did not make the call going into the second round. Managed mechanical problems. There's Jay Blake back on the starting line. But only yesterday, the car's running very well right now. They think they can go the distance here this weekend.
On paper, it favors the number 3 qualifier. On the racetrack, it is the number 3 qualifiers. Marty goes 571, 255 miles an hour to get the win.
You heard Bob Tasca earlier talking about those low ETs we expected to see. We're not seeing it. One of the reasons, watch the tire shake here on that Permatex Wins team machine for Marty Notstein, the former Olympic champion. He did a very good job to drive it out of that. The car gets a little squirrely sideways. These are short wheelbase cars. Got to shift them a couple of times. Arguably the toughest cars to handle in the class. And Marty, you don't become an Olympic champion by letting things overwhelm you. He has not let this car overwhelm him. He's done a good job.
First, let's check in with Julie.
Here with Marty Notstein. Just one second round. Are you guys going to make any major changes before your next round?
Well, you're kind of asking the wrong guy, but you know what? This Permatex Texas Roadhouse Wins, I'll call funny cars. You know, we're heading in the right direction. We're getting quicker. You know, then we lose ourselves a little bit, but we'll be fine. We're going to, you know, look at the computer and probably make a few changes, and we'll be ready. You know, we're gonna go after him here.
All right, we'll see you next round against Chris Foster.
Thank you.
Ask a driver what you're going to do tune-up-wise on the race car.
Good one.
Hey, I used to do that too. It is semifinals time as we welcome you back to a beautiful sun-drenched Houston Raceway Park in the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series. Next stop on the Full Throttle Drag Racing Series, though, on ESPN2 comes your way later today. We're in Las Vegas for the SummitRacing.com Nationals. You can catch the qualifying show at 8 p.m. Now, tomorrow, NHRA Race Day presented by Lucas Oil kicks us off at 11 a.m. Finals come your way Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's 1 o'clock if you're over there on the left side of the country. The number 2 qualifier is Chris Foster. The number 3 qualifier is Marty Notstein. He's on the right side. And here is the Lucas Oil ladder, how they pair up heading in the semifinals today. There's the matchup we're talking about on the bottom of your screen. Coming up next will be Steve Parker picking his lane over Jay Payne.
I don't want to say this is the haves and the have-nots, but the guys on the top half of that ladder, obviously very successful, a lot of national event wins, a lot of final rounds. The guys on this side, meaning this pair, not been quite as successful. That Jay Blake car in the right lane has won at this racetrack before, but not with Marty driving. Chris Foster, who was living in the 560s during qualifying, is going to have to find a way to get back there after that pass that he made at 573 in that second round.
Look at Marty go, the Blade, 561, 257, and he is into the finals with Jay Blake and that entire team.
Huge run at 5.61 seconds, almost a flawless performance. Basically dead even off the starting line, around 207 miles an hour down there at half track. So that's an excellent run right there from Marty and the gang. And Jay Blake coming back to the racetrack where we first saw him kiss the starting line after the win. The Foster team with an excellent performance, 569 right there with him. But the better car won that drag race and back on the starting line to follow a dream team just doing a marvelous job.
Here with Marty Nostine. Now, you've won 2 Olympic medals, but you're going to your first final round in this alcohol class. How excited are you right now?
I'm very excited. You know what? The Follow a Dream team has been working hard all day, all weekend actually, and to be able to represent our sponsors, Permatex, Wins, Texas Roadhouse, and take them to a final round and hopefully get to that winner's circle. But, Steve Harker's been running really fast, but, we're not going to pull any punches with him. We're going to go out there and give it our best shot.
All right, we'll see you next round, but you don't have lane choice.
That's okay. Anything can happen.
All right.
A polished professional right there.
Something about a guy running with the number 13 on his car.
Here's how it sets up for our Top Alcohol Funny Car Final. Harker, courtesy of his 556, will pick his lane for the blade.
Shows you how good the field is.
Top comes down on Steve Harker's red machine on the right side of your screen as we welcome you back to Houston Raceway Park. Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series. On the other side, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, Marty Nostine. This a great opportunity, Bob, for Marty. Good opportunity also for Steve with Frank Manzo not being here and already having a couple national events on the board.
Steve Harker needs to learn to close that deal. We've mentioned that before. 13 final rounds, but just 2 national event wins. We've already seen a couple of first-time winners here. David Jones, Jacqueline Gebhardt. And of course, Marty Nostine over there is going to get an opportunity to run for his first. And this is the track, of course, we're back a couple of years ago that Jay Blake team came and won the race. David Ray driving at the time. Did a great job. So they've been running very well. I mean, Marty's been in the low 560s. The weather in the track, the sun starts to set a little bit, gives you the racetrack back, meaning the temperature should be down from what we saw earlier at that 114, 115 range. Be a very interesting matchup between these 2 high-powered teams.
Where did Marty win those gold medals? It was in cycling. It means he's pretty good with hand-eye coordination, having to steer a bicycle. Because of that, he's been very, very good on the tree today. 0.30 in the second round, 0.30 once again in the semifinals. Steve Harker cannot afford to give him anything at the starting line.
Absolutely. A lot of us are good with that hand-eye coordination. Oh, I'm sorry about it.
Let me get that for you.
I'm ready to find it. Another family back on the starting line. You've got 2 race cars here that are capable of both running into the 50s. They both have, and of course, Steve trying to win this thing out of the #1 qualifying spot here this weekend.
Well, the fans have stuck around. They want to see how this thing's going to play out, and it's going to be a good one. The #1 qualifier on the left is Steve Harker. The #3 qualifier on the right is Marty Nostine.
Harker looking for the sweep, #1, low ET, top speed. You got that kind of race car, and he's had it before. You don't want to let these get away.
Here we go. Marty with the red light. You saw the car kind of roll, and that is a shame, because Marty actually outran the national event winner here in Houston, Steve Harker, who went 563, 227. And there you can see the hands on the head, threw it away.
Unbelievable. I have not seen this many red light starts. Boy, there's Brad Anderson back there on the starting line talking to Steve's wife, and just a red light start, just a couple of hundredths of a second, but we saw a lot of red lights in the final rounds here today. Marty's going to be mad at himself. It's exacerbated by the fact that he ran the better ET. You don't know if it threw Steve off by looking at that. We will never know, but Marty goes 561. Steve actually slowed a bit to 563. See that big speed there from Marty Nostine, but it's all for naught as he got beat on the starting line.